a threat to society and to children, and you should be arrested. I'm so sorry, dude. I didn't know you apologized for it. He says worse than CP owners. Of course, he doesn't address these Discord screenshots. Just boom, 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 boom. This is what we're all here for, the Vaush response video.
Let's get right to it then. Let's not waste time. What am I actually talking about? Well, I hate to drop this on the people who just innocently watch me for my political content and don't engage in any broader community drama. Some folks online have called me a
So the first point that he makes to respond to that is he addresses a clip that people have taken from him. And let's see where he plays the clip. Does he even play it? Here's the clip.
I guess the issue with the whole child's intertwined in our, economy thing. So...
In fact, and this is going to be a real hot take, I have yet to hear a convincing moral or legal argument as to why possession of child should be illegal. Actual child. How's that for a hot take? Now, to clarify on this take, as I feel it necessary to do so, we do not, in this country, typically criminalize people who have procured media or resources which were the product of abuse. It is not illegal to own necklaces that have slave diamonds or whatever. What are they called? Yeah, blood diamonds. Yeah, all of our clothes produced by sweatshops, our computers with silicon and lithium mined from literal fucking slaves. In our society, we have already deemed that people are not responsible for the mechanisms by which the media they consume and the content they engage with are produced. You like that argument? Ooh, you like that? You like that moral culpability? You're all worse than fucking CP owners, and I am too.
No, he gives himself the context that he's so desperately always asking for. Bro, this is bad faith. You left me out of context. I'm sitting here wondering when the context will finally be given to me. You're being uncharitable. You motherfucker gave yourself the context that you've been begging for, and you still look bad. Matter of fact, I'd say with context, he sounds a little bit worse. He's like, you're all worse than CP owners. Like, that wasn't ironic. He's being serious. Like, that was his train of thought. Because of, like, necklaces with diamonds in them that was apparently mined with slave labor. If you wear those, you're worse than people who own CP. It's like, dude, that's the context that you're begging to be left in. Is there anything else? Are we missing something? Because this next, 15 seconds of rambling you're gonna go on to after what you just said better have the fucking best argument of a lifetime in here.
Do you like that? No ethical consumption under capitalism. Sucks, right? But if we accept that argument for slave labor, then we definitely have to accept it for child.
That's how bad the argument was, bro. Reclined me back so far, I almost fucking flew out of this shit. Yeah, no. Does this clip prove in itself that he's attracted to minors? No. But I think that's why he put it in there in the first place, because he puts the ones that that are bad, but don't make him look like a first. And then the worst stuff, the Discord stuff, is way later on, an hour into the video. And some of the stuff does not even get addressed. I watched the video yesterday. He doesn't address the gecko stuff. He doesn't address the horse stuff. He doesn't address half of the Discord screenshots. The ones that he does address are pretty damning, and he doesn't even disprove like half the shit that the Discord messages prove. We'll get there obviously eventually, but there's some stuff in here that he tries to defend that he just does a job at doing. So just with the first stuff,
goal here was to spark indignant outrage, to make people who downplayed the immorality of unethical supply chains to reflect on the harm they were enabling through comparison, or for them to, bluster and go, no, they're different. Child slavery is fine, actually, and look bad. It was meant to be like an invective, like something like, it's punchy, it gets right through to people. Obviously, it didn't work. The only person I succeeded in making look bad was me, and that wasn't one of the goals. So yeah, no, pretty bad. Because I really, really want to make sure that I'm being clear with my thoughts here, because I don't like being misunderstood, and being misunderstood kind of feels like my job sometimes. Just in case the bad logic of my brilliant little devil's advocate it's not coming across, let me give you an example. Imagine that I was a vegan back when I started my channel, and I was angrily arguing with my audience about the hypocrisy of America making animal abuse a felony, but also allowing millions and millions and billions of animals to spend their whole lives in torturous captivity before being slaughtered for meat. I'm flustered, and I want to make a point. So I start saying that, hey, if we're all being morally consistent here, we wouldn't even have animal abuse laws, huh? Why protect animals at all, I would say. Since we're clearly so okay with them being tortured and killed en masse, why not be consistent?
Yeah, I guess the difference is that, like, you actually need to slaughter animals, like, for food, for survival. And even if it did exist, I wouldn't take this option, but it's not even like vegan alternatives exist at, like, a mass scale to where we could just get rid of, like, animal foods. Like, that's just not possible right now at all. And even if it was, there's just no way that would be practical, right? And it's the same logic for, like, this guy says, like, mining cobalt that we use for our phones is really bad, and so therefore owning CP is also really bad because it's both exploiting children. But it's like, or you cannot live without a phone nowadays. Like, that's just, it's kind of a fact. I'm not saying that in terms of like, oh, I'm addicted to my phone and screen time and whatever, I can't live without my phone. I'm saying, like, in society, it's sort of expected of you now to have a phone, for jobs, for social life, for basically anything. You need to have a phone. You need a computer as well. You cannot get employment nowadays without a phone or a computer. You need to be contacted. You need to have it's expected of you. Okay, that's just kind of how it goes. So that's the first thing, right? Is like, there's literally a necessity. It's the same thing with like clothing too. Like there's a good chance most of the clothes that we own now are made in China or made overseas in some sort of unethical scenario, right? But that's just unfortunate. And unfortunately, I can't not wear clothes. I can't walk out in the streets butt-ass naked and they're like, hey bro, yeah, you're nude right now. Why are you doing public indecency and why are you butt-ass naked right now? They're not gonna not arrest me if I respond to them like, you do know that you're wearing Chinese child labor on your body right now. You basically are the same thing as a CP owner. They're like, what the f? Dude, no, just put on clothes. Like, you need to be clothed in society. So basically, the argument that, like, CP is the same because they both come from bad places is because the outcome is, like, not... One of them is necessary and one of them is not only unnecessary, but evil. It's not evil to just wear clothing. It's not evil to own a phone or own a computer. Whereas it is always evil to own CP, 100%. Both the input and the output are horrible and unnecessary, right? Whereas maybe the input for clothing and phones and computers is evil, right? And unnecessary. The output is absolutely necessary. Like, we need clothing. We need phones, you know? And obviously, if there was just some button I could click to make sure everything that everybody owned was ethically produced, I would flip that switch, but that just is not the same thing as CP. And he literally says, you guys are all... He doesn't say the same. He says worse than CP owners. There's just so much more to get into here, but it's such a bad argument too, because CP, like owning CP, is not just like bad on like an individual level, like, oh, it's just bad because I own it and then it was made in an unethical way, but basically the person who owns it is like, I would say, when they're acting on an urge, like a urge, in any way, even if it's just in your own house on a computer, dude, I feel like you're training your brain to be desensitized to the immorality of child exploitation. Like, it's like conditional training, you know? If you watch something enough times, you become like desensitized to it, whether that's gore, whether that's anything, or like if you watch a comedy special 100 times, the jokes aren't gonna hit as hard. If you're watching this material, which is fucking disgusting, you eventually will probably become desensitized to it. It won't give you that same like dopamine spike, and you will eventually probably go out. I'd say the likelihood is more that you will go out eventually and do something unethical to either seek more extreme versions of this already disgusting and highly illegal material, but also perhaps harm children yourself. It's not like I own clothes and I'm like, oh, this was made in China by Chinese child labor. If I want more clothes, I'm gonna go hire these Chinese children myself to get this. That's just not how that works, obviously. Or it's not like I own a computer and I'm like, wow, this computer is great, I'm gonna go exploit more children for more computers. Whereas the people who do own that CP, it's like kind of what they have to do. It's like I feel like there's like a very slippery slope with this sort of stuff. Whereas like owning phones and stuff, it's not like I own one thing that was made by child labor and because I like it, I'm gonna look for more, I don't know, like factories with harsher conditions to make more stuff for me. You know what I mean? Wow, this product is great. They made it with Chinese child labor. I'm gonna make sure everything else I buy is made with Chinese child labor because I like this product so much. You know, it just doesn't make sense. Whereas with the CP stuff, like that is kind of how it goes. If you like CP, you're gonna look for more extreme versions of it. You know, like crazy shit. And it's like, it's so fun.
And just do away with all animal abuse laws too, huh? Huh? Of course, in that example, I wouldn't really be arguing for the removal of animal abuse laws. I'd be pointing out an apparent hypocrisy in animal welfare norms with an abrasive devil's advocate.
And that's a great point. Someone in my chat just wrote this. You can own a phone and still care about children. You can own computer that was made by child labor and still care about children. You can own a t-shirt that was made by Chinese child labor and still care about children. That is absolutely possible. You just can't own CP and still care about children. You are a threat to society and to children, and you should be arrested and euthanized. There are workarounds to the labor thing, right? Which is like, you know, there's sustainable, like you can thrift, and obviously I know thrifting is kind of a trend, but like, dude, I've been thrifting a lot of my clothes, not because I'm like trying to virtue signal or like, you know, morally grandstand, but like it's a lot cheaper too. It's sustainable. Like if you're done with a shirt or clothing, maybe you've outgrown it, or you just, you know, want to switch up your style. If you just donate that, it's like a Goodwill or something, and then someone goes and buys that, and then they wear it, and then they donate it when they're done with it. It's so much more sustainable. You're keeping all the clothes in circulation instead of just buying like new mass-produced clothing. And obviously, you know, there's some flaws with this. If you want like designer clothing, you're gonna have trouble finding it, or certain brands are not represented in thrift stores, etc. Overall, I think it does a pretty good job at, you know, being a accessible solution, or a accessible way to combat, you know, exploitation in some ways.
You know, the point would be to get people to sort of like angrily confront my position or reflect on theirs. Likewise, in real life, 5 years ago, I wasn't actually arguing for the legalization of child abuse material. I was pointing out an apparent hypocrisy in child welfare norms and our allowance of materials produced through the harm of children.
It's not a hypocrisy though. That's what he's wrong about. It's not hypocritical to say, well, CP's illegal, but these blood diamonds are legal in other countries. That's not like hypocrisy. Wait, you don't think kids should be trafficked, but you own a shirt that was made somewhere across the world in unethical conditions that you have no control over? And also, they're not R-wording children to make the clothes either. Like, that's not hypocritical. Wait, well, you own a shirt that says made in China, but you condemn you're a hypocrite. That's not a hypocrisy. The way he's remedying his old take is by like doubling down, basically. It does not make any sense. And that's the end of it. That's the end of this segment in the video.
Stores, you know, with an abrasive devil's advocate. Abrasive and bad. So bad. I have spent the past 5 years explaining it. And to be clear, it really is a bad argument.
But, you know, a lot of guys in your position who are these kind of like philosophical types, they want to talk about the whole child thing and how it's just as bad as slave labor, I think was your argument.
Yeah, so that's one of the
Perhaps.
great philosophical debates of our time. Just can't keep it from
I don't know, what is it about smart guys that they feel like, I must rationalize child? Like, do you feel like it just, I mean, first of all, just for starters, that was heavily taken out of context, correct?
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, obviously it's gotten thrown through the dishwasher a bit, as internet arguments go. The basic idea of the argument, you know, the fundamental, which is like, it's bad to participate in the consumption of any product which, as a necessary prerequisite for its production, mandates the abuse of children. Everyone would agree with that, unless people are literally pro-child abuse, I guess. But most everyone would agree with that. People just don't like the direct comparisons because in my case, it wasn't the most accurate one, due to some like nitty-gritty detailed bits. And two, it's like deliberately provocative, right? And that's the problem. You know, that comes up the same reason people make comparisons to Hitler during arguments. It's like the most provocative thing you can get to. Like, you jump right to it. Like, well, how do I make a point about why X or Y about capitalism is bad? You know,
like this guy literally sees a guy on the news who's being interviewed who rescued a child from a trafficking. They're like, so did you really rescue that child from trafficking? He's like, yes, I did. Right? And then Vaush comes out behind a tree and he's like, excuse me, can I see the tag on your shirt? It says made in China. And he's like, oh, wait, you rescued kids from child abuse, but you're wearing a shirt that was made in China. You don't care about the kids. You're a hypocrite. It's like, no, actually, that makes no fucking sense at all. It blows my fucking mind. It's not hypocrisy, bro. And also, like, trafficking is necessary in order to produce CP, right? I feel like trafficking is not 100% required to have children work in sweatshops, you know? So it's a false equivalency, totally.
Okay. I've got one for you. You know, even if you're bulletproof on how you phrase that argument, people are going to get mad at
And
you.
on top of that, these Chinese sweatshops have been finding ways to circumvent U.S. like investigations on unethical practices forever. When any company is like, okay, we should make our shit in China. Let's look at these factories. Let's go to the factory ourselves. Do you guys have children working here? No, of course not. Look around. No children. It's like, okay, well, we don't see any children. I guess we're gonna do business with them. I mean, at the end of the day, how much can you really do? Like, it's overseas. They have different laws. They're hiding it from you. It's like, at the end of the day, how much can you really do? You can say, oh, you could not buy from them. No, actually, I can't. I need a phone. I need a computer. I need clothes. I mean, I'll thrift. I'll try to thrift, but I'm like, dude, I don't know what you want me to do. Do you want me to be one of those fucking people who wears body paint? I'm gonna just body paint myself? Are you naked? No, it's body paint. You hear what they're doing in China? The child stuff? I'm just protesting it. Yeah, sir, you're under arrest. Oh, damn, arrested for being anti-child abuse? You don't like slavery, yet you own an iPhone. Checkmate, chud.
But I wasn't. And if you're not, people will get more mad at you. And I have had to explain it so many times.
The vegan gains debate, that's
But he's still saying it's hypocritical. 5 years later, he's still making arguments.
Not only did I not make my arguments well, at one point I made my anti-child argument so poorly that it got clipped out of context.
Vaush owning CP is the same as owning a PC.
And people are using it as an argument that I support child. My basic argument is that, like, why is child material bad? Because to produce it, you have to hurt children. Because it hurts people to produce it, yeah? Producing child requires harming a child. The argument I'm making is that it frustrates me that liberals recognize child is bad. Great, nice. Well done. But then they're really, really defensive of, like, global commodity production chains that involve child slave labor. Like, they'll talk that off, like, really, really, really readily, you know? Like, oh, well, there's no other choice. Oh, well, we don't have to care about that. Oh, yeah, dude, like, cobalt that's mined up is done by a child slave. But, you know...
Wait, so how does he respond to we have no other choice?
Like, whatever, that's just how the economy goes. Oh, dude, whatever. Like, we make computers. They look sick, bro. Like, don't think about it. So that was the argument that I was making originally.
I don't know. Me personally, I would have tried to find another example.
Me too. Hey, me too, buddy.
The reasons for this argument being rhetorically and optically bad are pretty obvious, I'd say, but I wanted to explain why it's also logically bad. The parallel between child abuse material and commodities made with child labor is tenuous, mostly due to a huge gulf in personal moral culpability, right? I mean, hopefully that's obvious. It certainly wasn't to me back then. I still believe the presence of child labor in our supply chains is a massive issue, but, you know, I've stopped making that point in such stupid, pointlessly abrasive ways. You know, there's a sickness in the mind of the very specific kind of debate bro that I used to be, where you believe that if using the most inane, hyperbolic, shock value arguments, it makes you seem smarter. I'm sorry. I can explain what I was thinking at the time, but I can't for the life of me understand what I was thinking, if that makes any sense. Yeah, all edge and no point, truly. Oh, and to be clear, I didn't make that argument just once. Remember, the whole rhetorical strategy was edgy, abrasive bullshit designed to bait.
What do you? But I don't. So on one hand, he's being like, bro, I don't know what I was doing back then. You know, I don't know what I was arguing. It was so vapious and so ridiculous. There was honestly nothing I was saying. I was just being edgy for being edgy, and you know, I was 5 years ago. But then he goes on to make the same arguments. He literally doubles down. Essentially, he just like tweaks a few things, doesn't sound as optically bad, and just digs his heels in, basically. The argument that I was trying to make, and then makes the same fucking argument, still using false equivalencies, and he still says that, like, people who thinks that there's a difference in owning CP and owning things that you need to basically survive in society are the same. And so, ultimately, his position hasn't changed over the course of 5 years. Combine that with the fact that the recent leaks of him show that he's been in possession of lots of material, plus Discord screenshots. I don't know, man. And this is supposed to make him look the best. This is why he puts this first. And then he goes on to the other stuff way later on to the video. And in this Discord screenshots segment, he doesn't even include half the Discord screenshots.
Arguments, and it worked. I mean, arguments were had. You're a live streamer, you know, you have a hot take or you make an abrasive argument. You know, chat brings it up in the future. You argue about it again. I'm sure there are a million clips of that argument from different streams, but it's all the same damn thing. You know, it's like taking 500 photos of me getting in a car accident and then saying it's 500 different car crashes. It's all the same stupid fucking argument. Unfortunately, 5 years back, it took me a little while to catch on to how fucking stupid and self-destructive my edgy argument was, safe within the bubble of my then tiny community, where the only eyes I...
So the thing is, I guess it's weird too, because like, maybe he just doesn't believe that owning lolly is like morally bad, because he's like, oh, no children are harmed in the production of this because it's a drawing, which might be real, because like, look, the reason he has a problem with like cobalt and whatever and phones is because it harms children in the process of making it. So maybe he believes lolly is fine because it's just an artist drawing some shit.
Had on me were the eyes of my, I don't know, 100 or so committed fans or whatever back then. I wasn't really seeing any negative consequences from employing this rhetorical strategy. I mean, it would bait arguments from chat, of course. Like, I got those disagreements.
Is that true?
But that was...
Ahsoka Tano Gaming. Acheeto, he legit said in a debate like 3 years ago that lolly is CP. So he owns CP, so he's a... Okay, interesting. Do you have a clip for that?
Was what I was looking for. So I didn't interpret that as a sign of the argument itself being flawed. You know, it wasn't until I brought it up in a debate with Vegan Gains, a far larger YouTuber, that I realized how people outside of my community bubble perceived the argument.
Right, who buy child. Would you say they should not be held responsible for doing that?
Yes.
Really? Even though they're directly supporting child.
Yeah, I think it's hypocritical. If I
Dude, it's so, but that's what he just said 2 minutes ago, or whatever, 10 minutes ago. So he owns the same position. He hasn't changed at all.
It's insane to me that I needed that kind of external confirmation to understand how bad it looked, how bad the argument was. But I have a very low opinion of the me in a lot of these older clips. It just makes me look fucking stupid, to be honest. As you know, as it turns out, when you're talking to other people and making arguments about
he's
ethical
making the
labor
same argument
or labor laws or whatever, engaging in this kind of argument doesn't make people want to, you know, they don't get like blustered and confront you in a debate about labor laws. It makes them want to call you a p***o, obviously. So yeah, that's the explanation for the argument.
He doesn't even chill. It's the same argument.
I said before, it does reflect really poorly on me, but only in regard to my intelligence and character, not any sort of paraphilia. The clip is from very early on in my career. I think the original stream VOD was actually lost when my Twitch channel was first banned, but while looking for video context to add, I ended up finding this ancient effort from a fan of mine, presumably, to provide context to that clip. I don't know who made this. I hope they're doing well.
None of it is... Yeah, I agree. None of it is ethical. But we've already made...
This is just, he's just saying the same shit that he said in present day. This is not... We don't need this context. This is fucking 10 minutes of fucking context, bro. Okay, let's go to the Discord screenshots, because honestly, I want to see how he defends this shit.
Unfortunately for me, my presence online dates back way...
Is he going to show the actual damning ones, or is he going to show like the mildly damning ones that he can insert an excuse for?
Farther than the creation of my channel, which means people interested in finding...
Watch, he's gonna see this video or something and be like, well, you didn't watch my 20 minutes of fucking context.
Examples of me saying stupid shit have a pretty wide range of material to choose from. Before I had a channel or was even known as Vaush, I was a frequent and notorious shit poster in the community of a streamer called Destiny. I know, that's why I am the way I am. I had been in his community for a long time. Really long, and I really enjoyed the edgy, irreverent debate lord culture of his Discord server. So let's look at some of the stupid, edgy, irreverent shit I said 6 years ago there that people have since screenshotted out of context in the pursuit of calling me a... So this This is a perfect example of context being maliciously stripped from a screenshot in order to make me look bad, even though I'm right, and it's not even controversial. You know, I'm uncontroversially right, I hope. The conversation was about media and LGBT representation. Here's the gist of it. So, coming of age stories are really common. You know, like a young person, they go on an adventure, they meet people they like, maybe they fall in love, they slay a dragon, whatever. Really, really, really common type of story. One of the main types of stories, even. And one of the biggest culture war talking points back in 2017, and I guess still now today, is that that kind of story is weird and I guess the modern term would be groomery.
Yeah, so he's just gonna like appeal to his audience about like movies with like 5-year-old gay kids isn't grooming, which I don't even want to get into that argument right now. That's so easy for him to just appeal to his own side for. Let's hear this one, because this one's not great.
Yeah, okay, so this one actually is bad.
Cause you're a fucking pedophile!
And I've apologized for it.
I'm so sorry, dude. I didn't know you apologized for it.
A few times. Basically,
I didn't know you apologized for it. Not like in tandem with everything else you've said. This is like solid proof.
Here I'm doing that thing that guys do where...
What is that thing that guys do, bro?
You know, a hot female teacher will be arrested for raping a student, and the guys in the Facebook comment section will be like, you know, where was she when I was that age? Could have used me some of that. And basically, like, the thing they do where they downplay and trivialize the abuses of the teacher because they personally think it would have been cool if they could have slept with their hot teachers back when they were 14. And yeah,
bro, a person just told you that they're a victim, basically, okay? This person was like, I had sex with an adult when I was a minor, and you said that was hot. How the f are you gonna make this make sense, bro? Please tell me how that's okay.
Yeah, when I was 14, I also wanted to f my hot teachers.
Okay, bro. Dude, that's not the same thing at all! When you're 15 and you find women hot that are older than you, that's different than a minor and adult having sex and then you saying that's hot.
Obviously. But, you know, 14-year-olds are idiots. Their interests, desires, and preferences shouldn't really be accounted as a solid...
Yeah, bro just described puberty.
...moral argument to anything. So this screenshot isn't really missing any context.
Yeah, you're fucked. You're fucked, bro.
Actually is but I've since come around on this, and I've recognized how bad it is to downplay or idealize that kind of thing, so... you know, I've been consistent about that for years now on my channel. Not much else I can do. All right. Next one.
He doesn't even defend himself. He's like, yeah, this exists. You know, when I was 14, I liked older women. So basically, okay, no. You just told like a victim that their abuse was hot, essentially. I mean, unless you're talking about a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old, bro. Yeah, bro, it was me. Moving on. Like, what? Yeah, I did just call statutory hot. Anyway, next point.
All right, so this one looks bad. I think this is probably like...
The way I see it, the age of consent exists out of respect for the numerous power imbalances older people have on younger people, as those imbalances, or at least some of them, are redressed through the advent of socialism. The age of consent should therefore be lowered. I just don't know how you argue that the age of consent should be lowered as an adult and not expect people to assume you're a Why do you care about lowering the age of consent? That is not a political issue that's on the agenda for today. Okay, that's not something we're voting on. That's not something that's discussed in the politics of today. There's no Trump being pro age of consent lowering. There's no Biden being pro age of consent lowering, okay? I mean, obviously some people will say Biden sniffs kids, but why is this your take? What does this have to do with anything?
Like one of the other things that gets used against me the most often. It is mostly just...
He wants to lower the age of consent. He said statutory rape was hot. He said owning clothes is worse than owning CP.
Stupid in the same way that the previous, like, terminally online debate-brained tendencies we've seen have been stupid. No. My argument was that under socialism, an economic system that I don't believe exists or has ever existed, you could defensibly adopt an age of consent set to the same level as it is currently set to in England or France. Another pointless intellectual exercise conducted, I assume, because I and a lot of other people in the Discord server believed arguing controversial topics through inane hypotheticals made us cool and smart. Wow, good thing that didn't carry forward into my streaming career. I think my logic was, no, I know what my logic was. It was that the idea that economic disparities are a primary element of the power imbalance between adults and minors.
Bro, you literally just said the age of consent should be lowered. I don't care why. I just don't. I just don't care what you say beyond this point. You just said, like, your buzzwords, bro.
Minors, and that removing that imbalance through total economic equality would wreck.
You saying there should not be jail time for school shooters. Like, I just don't care why you say that. That's just
Rectify a part of the power imbalance. It's a stupid argument. I definitely don't agree with it anymore. I probably didn't agree with it like very shortly after I made it because I was arguing about it. It's pretty easy to poke holes in that one, I gotta say. Economic disparities are present in couples of literally every age.
What?
Right?
What do you?
The power imbalance between adults.
So
and
what does economics have to do with grooming? Like what does money have to do with age of consent? I don't think economics plays any role into why it's not okay to do statutory, bro. I don't think money, the power imbalance between a poor person and a rich person has anything to do at all with why grooming is bad.
Minors is more developmental and social. So the argument was stupid and meaningless, yes, but you have to understand that to the mind of the terminally online debate bro, the hotter and less necessary the take, cooler you are for making it. Great stuff. You know, I've done myself nothing but good service in the pursuit of all of these excellent arguments that needed to be had.
Oh, dude, I feel so bad for you.
I think that's it for the Discord screenshot.
No, that's not it.
That I can meaningfully add context to, like ones that I think are substantive enough to warrant any kind of explanation. The others are fake, like faked, like photoshopped or whatever, or so insubstantial that addressing them feels pointless. Yeah,
Let me find the ones that I was looking for. Does anyone have that video? I think it's by Bad Empanada. Like, he's not even, he doesn't even respond to any of this. He's like harassing this girl, Poppy, who I believe was like autistic or something and like was like being a pest. He doesn't respond to any of this. One of my geckos will run down and jump on my not bestiality. Like, they're genuinely giving me a full body. Yeah, consent is irrelevant for animals. So he like, you know what I mean? So he doesn't care about animals because he'll like have a gecko on his, but we're supposed to assume he'll stop at geckos even if he doesn't believe consent like for animals. Like he won't do it with a horse. Of course he doesn't address these Discord screenshots. Does he address the geckos at all? No.
Works.
Or him harassing the autistic
attacks
girl.
against me are
He does not address it, bro. He gets out scot-free, bro. Literally just gets off scot-free. Unfucking believable.
After all that, now we finally arrive at this most recent drama. The incident that lit a fire under Drama YouTube and is, to my mind, the only thing I've done in the past 4 years that actually looks bad.
Oh, okay.
So there I was, streaming
break
a few weeks ago, browsing a men's fashion site. I wanted to look at an image more closely, so I right-clicked to open the image in a new window, but then accidentally instead clicked the Save As tab in the right-click drop-down menu. Now, because I am, as has been extensively demonstrated in this video, a fucking idiot, my preferred strategy for keeping my desktop clean is to keep a single big folder called To Be Sorted, where every image, document, music file, whatever I happen to download gets sent. This is an insane thing to have as a live streamer, but there you go. It's me. So I hit Save As, and a half second later, a preview window of the folder and its contents popped up on stream. And now, of course, that folder had in it. So I immediately ended the stream and deleted the VOD. Even if it weren't just embarrassing to make a mistake like that as one of the largest political live streamers, it's TOS. You gotta delete the VOD. So I stream with no delay, and folks are always screen capturing the feed, so I knew that.
And what did they find? What did they find, Vaush? Because will he address the lolly? Will he address the horses? What does he address here?
The contents of my To Be Sorted folder and the preview window were irrevocably public knowledge. But to be honest, that didn't really bother me too much. About liking all that stuff on stream before, not a secret. And I thought, maybe, in a way, this f*** would come across kind of charming.
What the What? Oh, guys, do you think I'm charming and handsome? Do you guys like my... On everything, this guy cannot be real. Dude, you're so charming, bro. That gooning folder you have was so adorable. Your gooning folder is so you. It's so you.
That's my streamer, that fucking idiot right there. My community was already making a big joke of it by the time I went live again. Of course, I knew as soon as the folder opened on stream that it would be pretty easy for people to lie about what it contained, to stir up drama or cause me trouble or for any other reason. So when later on in that stream, 1 or 2 people came into chat and they said, hey, there was lolly in there, you know, I figured they were just causing trouble and I banned them. Of course, we know where this is going. By the next day, I had learned from what felt like the entire goddamn internet that 2 of the images in my folder preview window were actually from a well-known lolicon artist.
Oh, and you just so happen to discover that, man. Oh, whoops. Whoops. Man, the 2 of the images that I deliberately saved onto my hard drive that I have in a folder on my desktop, on my computer, so I can access them easily. Yeah, apparently it's not even just 2. But it just so happens that 2 of them that I can see with my own eyeballs, and I'm like a grown man, and I can like use context clues to determine what I'm looking at here. It just so happened to be lolly. Duh. I mean, guys, come on. How often are you on the internet and then you download something and next thing you know it's like, I just saved lolly on my computer. Did I just save lolly again? No, it doesn't happen because that's not something that you just normally do. It's not something that you can just have an accidency, you know, oopsie doopsie on, my man.
And therefore definitely it intended to be lolly.
Which means it is lolly. It doesn't mean it's intended to be lolly, it means it is.
It's to be the worst possible way to find out about that sort of thing. Now, obviously the accusation here isn't just that I had those images saved, that part's true, not really an accusation, but also that I must have known that they were lolicon and saved them because they were lolicon.
And in context of everything else, I think that's very believable. Let me get that screenshot. That'll be a good screenshot right there.
Now, the obvious and predictable, but nonetheless true response from me is that no.
I didn't know.
I didn't know that.
Bro, this guy, I didn't know, man. I had no idea. Who the f believes this, dude? Does anyone believe this excuse? How do you look at it? Because you look at the drawing, you can see the size of the girls in the drawing. You can see the way they're depicted. You've seen enough children in your life because you were a child once to know what a child looks like and how they would be drawn. I just don't understand. And also, I noticed he doesn't even address the horses because the lolly stuff that he downloaded, right? Even if, let's say, he didn't know that it was lolly, right? What he did know, because I saw the image, literally is like a horse doing things with these 2 lollies. So it's bestiality confirmed at the very least. Bestiality plus lolly, you're disgusting, bro.
And that must not have been the impression I got from those 2 drawings because...
Really? Oh, you just didn't get the impression that they were like drawings of children? I didn't get that impression, guys, you know? It was like, it's like 4 foot drawing compared to a horse. Very small, very short. Yeah, nothing about that. Nothing about that really gave me any impression of it being a child, bro. And I didn't go out of my way to find this shit, bro. I was scrolling Twitter and because Twitter recognizes, like, if you look at about Vaush, it'll keep showing you more shit about Vaush. And I saw this thing, it's like exposing what he saw, and I'm like, okay, I'll click it. And I'm like, okay, well, what the f? And so there you go.
If I had gotten that impression, then I wouldn't have saved them, you know? I mean...
no, I don't buy it. You're a fucking pedo.
Drawings are abstractions, and art styles and body proportions vary massively, even for characters that are unambiguously adults. That doesn't mean lolly shit isn't a thing or a problem. I've bitched about it being a problem, like, a lot on stream. It just means that carelessly or inattentively failing to notice it isn't exactly impossible. Yeah, I know what some people are going to say, you know, no, you must have known. There's no way you didn't know. And like what am I going to do? Make a fucking evidentiary argument here? You know, like, I'm not putting up the images so we can argue about the pixels or the proportions or whatever. I know fully well that...
Didn't he also make an argument being like, this chick was like 3 heads taller or 6 heads tall or something? And if you do the math, didn't we do that math? Yeah, we did do the math, but yeah, the 6 heads tall argument is like what, 4 foot exactly or something?
Like 99.9% of people who have heard about this drama haven't seen the images, nor do I think those people should go looking for them, obviously. So it's pretty much entirely a take me at my word or don't kind of situation where people are free to lie about the drawings.
I don't take you at your word, bro.
Already seen on Twitter.
With the context of everything else, no shot I'm taking you at your word. Especially after you left out half the screenshots about you doing the thing with your geckos and how you're into animals.
Post other really bad looking shit and say that's what I had in my folder. There's not much I can do about it, right? It's all totally unfalsifiable, and people are going to make whatever assumptions and inferences they want to make. All I can really say is that I didn't notice the problem while saving the drawings, the same way a person could fail to notice any element of any drawing if they were careless or inattentive or distracted. Hell, chat also pretty much immediately clocked 2 other drawings in the folder preview window as being AI art. Something else I didn't notice, and they gave me plenty of shit for that,
Oh,
too,
dude, the
'cause
AI art
I'm not a big
allegations.
fan
Thank
of
God
AI
you
art.
addressed those. Thank God you addressed the AI art allegations and not the Discord bestiality shit. I'm so glad you got the AI art stuff down because we were really wondering when that was going to come out because, God forbid, I didn't know that I didn't like you until you said that you saved AI art, bro. I'm sitting here like, bro, this guy, I'm not convinced he's bad. You know, this is a pretty good defense. And then he saved AI art, man. That is so bad. AI? You would use artificial intelligence? Oh, no. The CP stuff, that's, I can look past that. But the AI art, should have known. I should have known better, man.
Yeah, I think I've done a good job of demonstrating a tendency towards carelessness, if nothing else. So, leaving that stupid, least charitable argument aside, someone might then ask, okay, I get it. It's possible to make a mistake like that. Why then would you save the images? And what about them did you like? And look, there's really no way of saying this without sounding crass or flippant or whatever, but, you know, it's already a pretty revealing video. There's actually a very clear and simple explanation for why, you know, for not just those 2 drawings, but in fact, all the drawings in that folder and all my tastes generally, and it's an explanation that is extremely well known and well substantiated. I'm a size queen. I like big.
Yo, deactivate your YouTube channel, bro. I never want to see you ever again on this website, bro. Deactivate it. Move to Africa. Go live in a hut, bro. I don't want you anywhere in this country nor on this website, bro. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of here. And by the way, when he says I'm a size queen, it means he likes horse. Okay, go to jail.
Yeah, I was looking through drawn like furry or hentai or whatever else.
Dude, shut the fuck up.
Big well-drawn dicks. I thought,
dude, shut the fuck up.
And saved the drawings, then never looked at them again, as evidenced by the fact they are in a big dump folder literally called to be sorted. That's, you know, that's the extent of the consideration that I gave those 2 drawings before my community and then the entire fucking internet hopefully corrected my mistake.
Dude, fuck you, man.
It's hard to even say anything about it. You know, 5 seconds of, ooh, nice, cool line art.
I feel like I'm getting violated right now just by this video. The audio, the words he's saying entering my ear just feels like I'm being touched.
Saved. And it's a whole discourse. You know, I wish I had an answer that was more satisfying, but really for something like this, I feel like people are going to believe what they believe. I do think there is a real argument to be made about carelessness, especially with regard.
Oh, he's just careless. Oh, whoopsies. Downloaded some lolly. Me, when I accidentally download a specific type of P word that is accidentally another type of P word, CP word, okay.
To lolicon and its seeming omnipresence in the anime community. You don't have to know much about anime to know that's an issue with it. Yeah, I find it repellent, and I've been bitching about it for years. Plenty of that bitching has been on stream, too. But it's possible to find something repellent.
So just don't get caught. Just be more careful. Because he was careless, so if you're more careful, it's totally cool. That's basically his argument. It's just like, oh, wait a sec. Oh, I was careless, and I should have just been more careful. So guys, in reality, just be more careful. Just be more cautious when you're saving lolly to your hard drive.
While also not being perfectly vigilant about it.
Yeah, just be more alert, okay? Just like smoke a cigarette, get that nicotine rush, make sure you're high alert. Just boom, 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 boom. Am I streaming? Is the FBI here? Can anyone see me? Hood up, webcam censored, glasses on, mask on, anonymous mask on. No one can see me. Saved it, downloaded it, didn't check the age, didn't verify, but I'm anonymous. No one can find me. So is that what he's saying?
You know, especially in art where stylization and abstraction can kind of, I guess, cloud awareness and judgment of the extent to which any artists you follow or people in the community might be doing sussy shit, right? Pardon me for taking
sussy shit. What do you mean by sussy shit? What does that mean? Do you want to just say it?
My most indefensible position yet on this, you know, in this video, in the history of my channel. I actually do like some anime, you know, and there's a lot of really good out there in the anime community broadly, and in a lot of the sick anime babes getting railed on Twitter. You know, I'm sorry, like often that is also cool. And I hate the fact that, you know, pervasiveness.
No, I don't know. He keeps saying, like, no, I don't, bro. I don't. The Gooners are nodding their heads. I'm not, bro. You gotta just stop saying, and talk to this like I never been in your goon cave before, dude. You ordered a Yappuccino double espresso. You're sipping it. I'm not following you, bro.
Of lolicon means that the entire community is tainted, basically, right? I don't like the fact that, like, you could be looking through what looks like a bunch of totally, like, normal, fine, cool...
What? Goon material? And then all of a sudden, children, and then what? You save that to your computer? Oh, dude, Should've looked both ways before you cross the street. Like, what? Dude, no. Stop gooning. Stop gooning. Please stop gooning. On top of that, no excuses for that, and also no excuses for you saving this to your computer for just being careless, okay? I'm not convinced. And he literally says, you don't have to believe me. If you believe me, you believe me. If you don't, you don't. Bro, I don't believe you.
Big whatever you're into, while also feeling like you have to be vigilant that in this incredibly...
Yeah, maybe I'm just too cynical of the dude who's literally omitting evidence against him in the video where apparently he dresses all the evidence against him. Well, yeah, he omits the Discord evidence, he omits the horse stuff, puts the easiest stuff for him to debunk first or whatever, even though he did a bad job at that. This guy literally is just unacceptable.
Normalized process. Some of these drawings might be of characters that are canonically underage, or that, like, an artist who generally draws in a kind of, like, cartoony style might be fine, but then another artist does that, but then they're, like, actually drawing like they're meant to be teenagers or whatever. I don't like it, and it's a normalization issue, and I think one of the best ways you could deal with it is by being aware. I'm not perfectly aware, so I fucked up. This wasn't the first time that I fucked up in this specific regard. After the whole child labor argument saga, people went through a bunch of, like, likes in an old public Twitter account that I had, and over, like, thousands of liked, furry big monster girl images or whatever.
Stop it! Stop.
I think they found one that was, like, the character was meant to be a teenager, Like, and it's not surprising to me that that might happen because, I'm running between classes, scrolling on my phone. I look at an image maybe 2 or 3 seconds before I like. The degree of scrutiny required there indicates that this goes beyond some kind of, like, matter of personal temperance and extends broadly into, like, how weird is it that that's something that's been that normalized? I don't mean to, like, make a big point or make it like a broader issue, as a way of pulling attention away from me fucking up. I just think it's a broader issue, people are going to say what they're going to say. They can judge me for what they're going to judge me for. I think a lot of people have been real and charitable. I think it's insane to say this, like, yeah, it's a file, you got him. I think that's insane, but again, it's not really an evidentiary argument that I can make. So, what am I supposed to do? Yeah, I don't know. God willing, anime culture will get better one day. I wouldn't hold my breath though. So, yeah, that's the long and short of it. I'm sure there are other clips or screenshots or arguments out there that people have thrown into their big anti-me documents. But like I said, I wanted to focus on the accusations that I feel are at least somewhat grounded. If I took the time to tackle all the obviously fake or disingenuous shit, we'd be here forever. And I think it would take away from the stuff I actually did feel I needed to address. Again, walking that.
Yeah, of course he just felt the need to address, like, the easiest stuff, or what, not easiest stuff, but, like, not the worst stuff. Final thoughts. And so half this video is, like, intro and outro. The meat and potatoes is, like, a bad argument, and then half addressed Discord screenshots. The only one that he puts in that's really damning is the one where he calls statutory hot. This one is, he literally admits to having drawn CP on his computer, so I don't know. So that's that, bro. That's Vaush response. Somehow 77% like to dislike ratio, which is fucking nuts. Actually insane. He's gonna be fine, bro. He'll be fine too, which is insane. That kind of blows my mind a little bit.